Thank you for joining me on a rainy day. Nothing new there. So I am in the conservatory and I want to share a piece with you that is written by a lady called Cassie Phillips. I came across it on Facebook, somebody had shared it, and it's one of those pieces that I've read, reread and read again, and it really strikes home for me. So I will share it and then add my thoughts in at the end. So it's called Let Them. Just let them. If they want to choose something or someone over you, let them. If they want to go weeks without talking to you, let them. If they're okay with never seeing you, let them. If they are okay with always putting themselves first, let them. If they are showing you who they are and not what you perceived them to be, let them. If they want to follow the crowd, let them. If they want to judge or misunderstand you, let them. If they act like they can live without you, let them. If they want to walk out of your life and leave, hold the door open and let them. Let them lose you. You were never theirs because you were always your own. So let them. Let them show you who they truly are, not tell you. Let them prove how worthy they are of your time. Let them make the necessary steps to be a part of your life. Let them earn your forgiveness. Let them call you to talk about ordinary things. Let them take you out on a Thursday. Let them talk about anything and everything, just because it's you they are talking to. Let them have a safe place in you. Let them see the heart in you that didn't harden. Let them love you. Okay, so as I say, that has affected me on a very personal level. Pause for a deep intake of breath. And I knew it would affect me reading it out loud, so I've actually jotted down my ideas beforehand. You have to accept yourself just as you are without having to make changes for others. If you feel that you have to change to maintain a relationship, if that change is always one-sided, then the relationship might need to be given some consideration. And do not automatically take the blame and punish yourself for any of the things that they have done. Yeah, some of us find that hard to do. And on occasion you might be tempted to heal a rift, but they have to earn a place back in your life. Otherwise it will be very quickly back to as was, same old. And it really strikes home for me. They have to earn a place back in your life, not automatically take the blame and punish yourself for any of the things that they have done. We'll be very quickly back to as was, same old.
Wir sind eine Gottverdammte. Oh ja.
and it really strikes home for me.
So sinnlos, was wir tun, ist vollkommen sinnlos.
Watch something, to read something, to listen to something. You set yourself up to have a meaningful relationship with the internet. Now, the trick to doing this is it's the growing up of humanity. And we're seeing how important it is because we're more surrounded by cheap pleasures and instant gratification than ever. It's not your fault that you turn to them. But when you're living in absence of a meaningful story, when you don't have a meaningful narrative to connect to, of course you're going to turn to those substances because you're a biological being and you're surrounded by them. Okay, so we're leaning on systems to get ourselves out of that. This is something that I did when I was in the dopamine hole as well. I realized this was missing from my life. I didn't have a creative outlet. I didn't have something more interesting to do. And in that moment, I made the very pivotal realization that my problem wasn't chronic consumption. Turning to scrolling, turning to vaping, turning to smoking weed, these were not the main problems of my life. These were symptoms of a deeper problem, a lack of meaning, a lack of connection to that narrative. Now, like I said, I can't just snap my fingers and have you connect to a meaningful narrative. That's why we rely on the systems. We rely on reading and writing to connect you to that narrative. It's through the action that you find the clarity, not the other way around. You can't outsource the clarity. You can't think your way through the problem and then stumble upon this epiphany and then figure it out. You have to start with something, which is what I did. I started pursuing my interests. I started learning more about psychology. I thought of myself as a world to experience and explore rather than a problem to be solved. And when I took that view of myself, the whole process of self-discovery became really engaging. It was like an adventure to go on, and it was more stimulating than chronic consumption. And that's really the goal here, is we're just trying to find something that's more stimulating, more interesting, more engaging than consumption. That's the whole game that we're talking about. Watch something, to read something, to listen to something. You set yourself up to have a meaningful relationship with the internet. The whole problem with being in a dopamine hole is that you are in a constant state of dissatisfaction. You're not chasing real pleasure. You're constantly numbing pain. And there's a certain relief that comes from that. And so it's easy to be in a vicious cycle, because it's like relieve pain, feel pain, relieve pain, feel pain. And you can just repeat that over and over again. But what we're actually trying to do here in creating these sustainable lifestyle systems is chase real pleasure, real fulfilling pleasure. Here's a question for you. When you eat a meal, would you rather it be as maximally stimulating as possible or as maximally satiating as possible, actually feeling satisfied by it? When you're done with the meal, do you want to feel overwhelmed with stimulation, or do you want to feel full and ready to move on to the next thing? You got your fill. You feel complete. Think about how you want to feel by the end of the consumption. And that alone is a helpful guide to connecting to more meaningful consumption and doing a movement practice that actually feels good for us, rather than depleted and shameful and guilty for not being stronger, more fit, in better shape, right? These are important questions, because let's also recognize that you've grown up in a self-improvement culture that wants you to feel constant shame and guilt so that you spend more money on self-improvement products and stay in this negative self-talk cycle, constantly trying to solve a problem that isn't even really there. If you can operate from a place of self-love and empowerment, and I'm chasing something that is going to make me feel good, and I'm not a bad or weak person for wanting to feel good, then you're far more likely to stay consistent with it. We want to feel good, so let's make ourselves feel good with positive systems.
Let them make the necessary steps.
Achieve it. Come a little bit closer, baby. Get it on, 'cause tonight is the night when two become one. I need some love like I never needed love before. Wanna make love to you, baby. I had a little love, now I'm back for more. Wanna make love to you, baby. Set your spirit free. It's the only way to be. Silly games that you were playing, empty words we both were saying. Let's work it out, boy. Let's work it out, boy. Once again, if we endeavor, love will bring us back together. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it.
Happens more than I'd like to admit. Late at night, she knocks on my door. She's drunk again and
Auweia, so ne Scheiße hier schon, naja, so blöd kann man doch eigentlich nicht sein. Auweia, fuck, shit,